Marshon Lattimore, the last inklings that we had on him said that status is pretty hopeful that he sticks with the team, but that's if the team doesn't have a better offer that could, make sense on both sides for him to walk. But do we think that the Saints need to put a hard deadline on the final decision of Lattimore staying here or not? They let, Ike Allen walk in free agency, and they haven't been able to replenish that. So do they need to have a hard deadline between day one and day two of the draft?
No, I don't think so. And I actually think the likelihood of him getting traded is much higher after the draft, because if they let him go now, I mean, you got to take all the cap hit, all that stuff. It becomes much more costly. Right. I think that as they look at it, the likelihood of this happening is more so getting a pick in the next draft. That would actually be beneficial for their cap. Like, I think if they were to do it now, they would have to get somebody that's desperate, and it would be almost like getting them on like payday loan terms. Whereas if you wait a year from now, like, you can make a trade, and your interest rate is, I don't know what prime is right now, 9% or whatever. Like, you can do it on more fair terms after. But if you do it now, it's just because somebody needs it now. And I don't think it's going to happen that way. I don't think it needs to have a hard deadline. I think it's just you got to see the right return to do it. And if you're making this as a short-term move, I think you're already making a mistake. If you have it's like, well, we have to get it for this year. Like, no, if you're going to trade them, you're kind of doing something to build. And if you can get it to a place where it makes sense whenever, I think it's doable. But
do you need to know, though, before the draft? Because if you don't draft a corner.
No, because they have the guys. It would be.
You think they do?
Yeah, it would be Paulson. It would be Alante, and you can put someone in the slot. Like, you can fill the slot position. Kind of, there's guys that are free agents. You could move Ugo there. Like, there's a lot of things that you could do to kind of fill that in. So I don't think you have to know that at all, actually. Like, I think you're okay. Like, Tyron could give you something in the slot if you had to. Like, there's just ways to do that. That's easier to fill. So I don't think it's a must to know it right now. Yeah, I think you can go out and do that.
Do you draft? Does the importance of drafting a cornerback go up at all in your mind if you feel like it's unresolved next week? If you're the Saints and you know for sure it's 50-50, we still don't know, does that make you more likely to want to take a corner somewhere in early?
Well, I mean, I think you would need a slot guy. I mean, it's possible that they could draft one anyhow, but I think if you trade Marshon, you're just kind of fine with what happens with your season. Like, it's
That's
just
true. You're rebuilding at that point.
Yeah, you're
almost.
just it's not like you aren't making that trade to make your team better. Yeah. So it's like, well, if we're poor at this position, so be it. Like, we're going to see what we have with Alante on the outside, and then you go into the next draft knowing, what you actually need at cornerback as opposed to just like at the slot spot. So if you're doing it, yeah, you're rebuilding. I mean, I think that's kind of what you're saying. You're punting on the season, kind of. You're going to win 7 games, 6 games, 5 games, whatever it is, and you're just going to roll forward like that.
We're running a poll right now in the chat, and 100% says no. They don't think that they're going to trade Lat. So I think they're not throwing in the white flag yet.